Welcome to day 6 of the yoga challenge. Let's begin in a comfortable seated position, making sure the spine is stacked upright and bringing the shoulders above the hips and the ears above the shoulders, closing the eyes and arriving in the body. And announcing your arrival with some deep breaths. Following the Ujjayi sound. Inhaling down the spine. Exhaling up the spine. Noticing how rich your breath is with sensation. The sound and movement of your inhale and exhale. Letting go of all attachment to thought. Bringing the hands together in front of the heart. So the mind is very much wandering, drifting in all directions. And the body is the anchor. And how we get the mind to anchor is through the breath. So the breath is bridging the mind and body connection and brings us into a present moment experience. Notice what you're willing to receive today, and also what you're willing to give up, let go of. single Om. Inhale to Om. We'll begin today by standing up onto the feet. And we can stand with the feet hip width apart or right together if that's working for you. Spreading the toes out nice and wide. And standing in mountain pose, so finding the alignment of your hips above your ankles, of your shoulders above your hips, of your ears above your shoulders. And we'll begin with 5 shoulder rolls. So get you to inhale, lift the shoulders up as high as you can. Lift the inhale up high. Pause. Roll the shoulders back and exhale, let the shoulder blades slide down and back together. So inhale, lift the shoulders forward, up, pause, and exhale, let the shoulder blades slide back together and down. Exaggerate your breath. Take the hands and we'll link the thumbs together and start to stretch the fingers towards the sky. And through the link in your elbows, strengthen your elbows to try and push towards each other. And try to bring the arms back towards the ears. And think about moving the hands back, but as the hands pull back, then also let the shoulders slide down the back. So even though there's a strong engagement going on, right behind the heart, we're softening. Right behind the neck, we're softening. And exhale, release the arms forward and down. Let's take the left wrist up and we'll grab the left wrist with the right hand. Maybe we can do feet together for the side bend and the hips to the left, pulling the wrist up. The action continues to lengthen through the center of the feet, through the hands. Inhale the center, switching wrists, pulling over and almost upwards. The chest is turning slightly open to look towards the sky. Inhale, come back up, and exhale, releasing the arms. So let's take the elbows, let's take the hands, we'll take our elbows to cactus, the elbows, so like cactus arms, our elbows are bent, and I want to bring the elbows now down towards my ribs, as close to touching my sides as possible. I'm turning the palms of the hands to face forward, and I'm going to bring the forearm back. So breathing deeply here. Do you feel that? So if it feels like your head's jetting forward, take your forehead and your chin back. Take your elbows down to try and touch your sides, and take the forearms back. So feel your upper back engaging, and more specifically your shoulders engaging to slide back and towards each other. But even as you're doing this engagement, I want you to notice that there should be space between the shoulder blades that's not tense. So we're trying to get the engagement of the shoulders to draw down with the elbows and create more length up through the top of the head. Exhale, release the arms. Okay, just aware of those muscles turning on. We'll move through Sun Salutation A, okay, and we'll do this 3 times. Inhale together. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. A way to deepen downward dog would be to bend your elbows halfway without lifting your hands, really pressing the hands. With your elbows bent, draw those shoulder blades back together and then push your arms straight. Neck can be released. You can release the back of the neck. We'll look forward, step through with both feet. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, fold. Stand up, reach up, inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Eyes are following the center line as well. Inhale, you're looking up towards the forehead. Exhale, keep looking forward, looking to the tip of the nose. Inhale, looking up to the forehead. Exhale, look at the belly button. So whatever the eyes are doing, we're aligning our gaze to be centered. Step forward, inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, standing up, reaching up. And exhale, release. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to look forward, step our right foot forward, get it to the front of the mat, and we're going to stand up into Warrior D. The heel is lifted. So if you need the hands on the wall to help yourself stay here, totally fine. You could take hands to the waist if you need. Try to straighten your back leg. See how deep the lunge can go, but keep the legs active. And if you like, take your arms up and bring the elbows down and lift the chest and the gaze up. Really get some length through that back leg. So the pushing of your back leg giving rise to the center line. Exhale, hands down to the ground. Switch sides. Want to get the ankle straight, so if it looks like it's rolling, we're going to try to rearrange it. It might take some time. Hands can stay on the waist, or if the elbows are up, you're bringing the elbows down, bringing the heart up, the gaze up. And exhale, hands down. Vinyasa. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, downward dog. Step forward with both feet. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, stand up, reach up. And exhale, release. We'll take our left foot back into warrior A. And we come into a lunge on the right side, but we keep the back foot planted. Shoulders are facing forward. And I'm going to bend my left elbow so that my hand is behind my shoulder or my neck. And I'm going to take the other arm and pull that elbow back and towards the center line. Pressing my head back, breathing here. And the position of the elbow is to be pulled down the back. And as you press your head back, really starting to get deeper into that shoulder. Opening the back of your heart by pressing the head back. And exhale, hands can release. Step forward. We'll take the right foot back. Right elbow can bend. And the elbow is coming up, but the shoulder is coming down. And then when I hold the elbow, I'm trying to bring the shoulder and the elbow down more and slightly towards the center line. Pressing the head back. Embracing the sensations with your breath. Moving slowly deeper into action. And release the arms. And we'll step forward. So let's take the left foot back again. We'll come into a forward bend. And here the variations for the hands can be hands to the waist. You can start really opening up those wrists. If you can get the fingers upwards, that could really help open up that line. Okay, you could grab the elbows or forearms. And I'll give you the variation to clasp your hands together. In which case we want to roll the upper arms back and really work those arms back. Inhale, lengthen the front of the torso. And exhale. So attention to the ground. And where the pelvis is in proportion or relation to the feet. We're finding the center, balancing the shoulders. If
if you're going deeper in, could be that your arms could come over. It's not important that they come up high, but as soon as they become active, the action is helping the torso release into the pose. Inhale, come up. And exhale, step forward.
Maybe the opposite finger on the outside, if that's the variation you're taking. And we'll take the right foot back. Find the right distance so you're not slipping. So we're navigating the balance of our body according to what it feels like in our feet, and then our pelvis, then our shoulders, finding balance in the body through center line. And inhale, come back up, and we'll step forward. So we'll move through Vinyasa and we'll come down to our hands and knees. Coming down to the hands and the knees. So let's just begin by sitting back to the heels. Move the knees apart and the big toes can touch. Okay, and if this is a little bit too much, you pad underneath the feet or maybe underneath the knees. Hands can come out in front of us. We're going to rotate the hands outwards and try to point the fingers back towards the body. And then we'll try to sit back or even just bring the hips back a little bit at a time. And as soon as it starts to feel intense, then stay where you can meet the intensity with the breath. The connection to every finger supporting the hand relates to what's happening in the shoulders. So the way that you can connect with every finger supports you connecting with the awareness of the whole arm, the whole body. We'll sit back, or rather turn your hands around, we'll sit back. We can make figure eights with the wrists. And if you can figure out how to do it, then do it opposite. Great. A little bit more wrists. Let's, so when we're on all fours, okay? I showed you at the very beginning, maybe day 1 or 2, that if you need wrist support, that your knuckles should be coming down lower than the palm, and that will really help the hands, the wrists. Likewise, we can strengthen the wrists by coming up onto the fingertips. So if you feel like, it's too much, you can walk back and you won't have to hold as much weight. And ideally, I'm going to get you to come out to all fours. So breathing here. And if the fingers can arrange themselves to be supportive to the center of the wrist being lengthened, right? The elbow's lengthening. Now, a bit deeper than that would be getting the knuckles onto the ground and supporting a straight wrist. But that's requires a lot of flexibility, so this is why you could have your wrists on padding. If there is a slope down, your wrists are going to be good. If they're jamming, it's no good. Okay, so second thing we're going to do with the wrists, let's take the palm of the hands down. Spread your thumb and your pinky finger as wide as you can on both hands. Okay, and then spread your ring finger and pointer finger as wide as you can. And then really grip down with your middle finger. Okay, and feel how strong that is. And lift your chest up from that strong push. Okay, let's turn the hands around to point inwards. Still nice wide grip. Bend your elbows about halfway, and then we're not going to sink the elbows anymore. We're going to keep the elbows where they are and almost press your hands towards each other like you're squeezing your mat together and sink just your chest down. So I'm not up, but sunk in. And I'm gripping with every finger, but I'm not bending the elbows more. I'm more pushing the elbows to be strong and supportive. So you're softening between the shoulder blades is what you should start to soften into, as the spine being relaxed, but the push in your hands consistently bringing the shoulders back and together. Come back up. Maybe you got that, maybe you didn't. It's okay. So just getting some more mobility in the shoulders, okay? So let's take it to... right. Yes. Okay. So this is where I want to go with this. Okay, we're going to take our downward dog and step our right foot forward. Okay, and we're going to bring the hands on the inside of the leg. Okay, and we're going to walk the foot open just a bit. And the foot can point open a bit, and I can open my knee a bit. And I'm going to stay on my fingertips if I can, and sink my hips as low as possible without really sinking my knee. So without bringing the knee on the ground. And if that's not possible, knee on the ground, totally fine. Even though my knee is opening here, this thigh is rotating open, I'm keeping the big toe mound pinned on the floor. So, could you bring the hands down, bend the elbows a bit, but lift the chest up. Okay, lift your left leg if it's not lifted, and you can lift it. Okay, come on to the fingertips, walk to the left side, bend the elbows halfway, and lift the chest. Come back to center. Oh, good job. Downward facing dog. Left foot coming forward. Hands on the inside of the foot. Okay, your knee can be on the ground if it's not able to stay up. The left foot can turn open. The knee turns open. You can even bring the knee open. So the idea is to keep dropping the hips by lifting the chest up. Okay, you can have hands here, but bring the shoulders back so that when you push the ground, the heart lifts. And then we'll walk the hands slightly to the right. The hips aren't coming. Okay, I'm going to bend the elbows halfway, and I'm going to look up with the chest. And we'll come back to center.
Really good. Downward facing dog.
We can move through a vinyasa. Okay, move through a vinyasa, and we'll end up on our belly. So high plank, chaturanga, upward dog, downward dog, and then come back forward into plank and lower down onto the belly. So we're doing a lot of groundwork with our hands and arms. Okay, and so we're gonna take our hands back to a chaturanga position, just under the elbows here. And I want my elbows to come in towards the body. Okay, and I want to take my shoulders down the back, which ends up helping me push my palms into the ground. So for the first 5 breaths, just lift your back and press into the center of the palms while squeezing the elbows back. If you feel like there's a lot of tension in the back of your neck, let your head point forward a little bit more, back of your neck extending. Come down,
Head to the side. Release your body. Coming back up.
let's press into the ground. Think about moving your upper arm back, down towards your elbow, and through the press into your hand. And lift your legs up. Straight legs, legs together, squeezing the inner thighs, lift up, press into the hands. And upward dog is when you keep this shape, but the body rolls to the feet, and when you pick up, the pelvis is off the ground. Okay, that's upward dog. Is all the way off the ground, nothing's limp. You're doing the same work as here. Exhale.
Release your head. Oh, release.
And we'll push back into child's pose. Or you can move through a vinyasa.
And then come to child's pose.
Good. Child's pose. We'll bring the knees apart a little bit. And we're going to walk the arms forward, okay? And so similar to downward dog, when we're pressing into the hands, I want all the fingers spread. I want the elbows straight. And if you can rotate the arms a bit, that will really affect you in a positive way. So if the biceps can roll open just a bit to support straightening the elbows, okay, we could walk the hands forward and keep that strength in the push, but slowly start to soften the chest towards the ground, breathing deeply here. So I want the support of being able to hover, but slowly
softening the ribs towards the floor. And if that's a little too much, you walk back a bit until it's not too much. Right? If it's too much, walk back. If it's too much, come back. I want to feel that I could support curving in the spine by lengthening through the push in my hands. We'll come back up.
Maybe that was a little too intense, okay? If that was too intense, then don't worry about it, it's over. But you can also message me at any point and we can discuss anything and find a variation that works for you. So this next one is like downward dog. It's called dolphin. And it's same extension, but we do it from our elbows. So our elbows, we want to keep them no further than shoulder width apart, because when they're out here, they're not very supportive points of contact. So elbows under the chest, okay? And you can have hands together, or if you have a book, you can have your hands this far apart and have that book or block be your spacer.
So we come up with the knees and we start to push the arms forward and shift the shoulder blades back. And so as you push, you're lifting the hips and you're sending the chest towards the feet. There is a subtle squeezing of your inner arms that will support your arms staying grounded. So a little bit of squeezing in your inner arms will support pushing through the center of the arm. And like I said, if you have an injury or something that's showing up in a pose, don't put more effort into it.
We kind of need to see what's what, and as long as we're not in pain, pushing pain, then we can probably find a safe way to work with the area. So that's really good. We'll lay onto the back. We'll move into a bridge, or a preparation for bridge. Walk your arms and shoulders down, their hands pressing or elbows bent is a good place, and we'll bring the hips up. Imagine the tailbone is trying to tilt forward, and as I push into the legs, I'm lengthening the breath towards the chest. Hands could be pressing the ground. Hands could support the hips, or you could clasp the hands together. And we'll come back down. So I'll get you to do the same variation. We'll hold it for 5 breaths. I'm going to show you an easier variation in case you're having trouble with this posture. So you could have a block or a thick book, maybe the Bible, to help you. And we're going to take the block underneath the pelvis. So that's pretty tall. I could go short side, right? And I'm putting it right at the edge of my tailbone. Should feel pretty helpful, pretty good. And that can give you some assistance in opening up those muscles. Okay, wherever you're at, come back down.
breathing to stay anchored. Yeah, it's like your head is like Major Tom, floating around like an astronaut. And every time you notice that you're out there, we got to come back to ground control. We got to come back to what the body is doing, and we do that through expressing the breath. And so it's not our fault that our mind loves to go every way, but knowing that it does, we come back to our anchor point, our body, our physical experience. So let's come back in one more time. Right, and the hands can support. Even better if the elbows were underneath you. Okay, the shoulders are on the ground. There's no part of your shoulder that's lifting off the ground. And come back down and release the legs. Let's bring the knees into the belly, forehead to the knees. And we'll relax into Shavasana. So moving your arms down away from your ears, moving your legs away from the head. And let's get 3 audible sighs. Inhale. And just let the effort go. All we're doing here is releasing more and more towards the ground. Noticing the quality of stillness that exists in the center, and relaxing even more. And so notice your toes completely relaxed. And notice the quality of the foot and ankle as it softens. Allow the weight of your calf muscles to release into the ground. And let your knees become supported. Notice the weight of your thighs. And allow the container of the pelvis to be held in support by the ground. Let the abdomen and the organs in the lower half of the torso, let them expand
body expand all the way to the edges, and let those edges expand. Feel the center of the heart, and let that deep center, let it soften the ribs and the shoulders. Notice how free the arms, wrists, palms, and fingers become. Notice a vibratory glowing at the base of the neck and throat. And allow your neck to release and your jaw to release and your facial muscles to dissolve. And let the head soak in light. Start to deepen the breath again. Finding your way onto your side. And as you come back to a seated position, sitting with reverence for your space. Breathing ease as you start to pull the thread of gratitude, notice how much more gratitude you have, and allow that to become a state of being. Namaste.